back to my channel. Today's video is actually going to be inspired by somebody who left a comment on one of my previous videos. This one, the comment was made on my tattoos and piercings video. So this whole video right here is going to be inspired by this one comment. This comment is by Chan_9000. So they said, "Nice video. I like to hear the story of your piercings. Do you think to get more symmetrical look, even out? How about getting dermals? How often do you change your piercings? Do you think to get your tongue split? Will you make more piercing tattoo videos? Plan to laser fix, touch up any of your tattoos? And how do you know what tattoo to commit to?" So let's get into that real quick. Okay, so the first question I'm going to answer is, what is the definition of a piercing? According to Google, the definition of piercing is a small hole in a part of the body made so as to insert a ring, stud, or other piece of jewelry. So that could be literally anywhere in the body that you can insert a ring, stud, or piece of jewelry is considered a piercing. Do you think you're gonna get a more symmetrical look to even it out? I'm assuming you mean my ears. I have the industrial on this side, and then I have my tragus and helix on this side. I personally do not want to even them out. If anything, I would get my holes done up to this one, and then this one I would like to get the whole ear done, but I don't really plan to even them out per se. I like the asymmetrical look myself, especially considering that I have the nose ring on the other side. I like how it looks asymmetrical. Are surface piercings safe? That means like dermals. So if you are not sure what a dermal is a piercing. Typically, I'll use my wrist as an example. It could be done here. They take what looks like a cookie cutter and put it into your skin and take out a piece of your skin and then insert a jewelry piece into your skin, and it literally looks just like a diamond sitting on your skin. They typically are safe. They are done by piercing professionals. However, I personally do not think they're safe, simply for the fact that, okay, if you have it on your wrist, you're constantly moving your hands, you're doing things, the piercing could get stuck. There's more of a chance for it to get stuck and get ripped out. And like I said, because it is not something like these, it is not cemented, but it's implanted into your skin. So now you're ripping out a chunk of your skin and you now have a hole in your skin. Dermals also typically don't last forever. They do tend to fall out over time. And again, just leave a giant hole and scar in your skin. So I personally don't think they're safe. They are considered safe though. Like I said, they're done by professional piercers. They are safe, but I personally do not think they are. Going off of that, will I ever get dermals? Absolutely not. Never in my life am I going to get a dermal. Ever. I'm 100% certain on that one. Are oral piercings safe? So this one means your smiley, which is right here, the little web right there. I mean your tongue. I was drinking a Coolada, blue raspberry Coolada. But I have my tongue pierced. They are safe. However, it's the same way with everything. Piercings do tend to get infected. You have to take care of them. The problem with mouth and oral piercings is it takes more care because you have to use Listerine. You have to be careful when you're eating, when you're drinking. You have to be more careful than if you get a piercing done on your ears. You don't have to be as careful with everything. They are safe. They're safe as just about any other piercing, but like I said, there are complications with every and any piercing, so you just have to be safe. And with these, you have to be a lot safer than you would with these. How often do you change your piercings? So I have severe OCD, right? So I change my gauges once a month. Every month on the first day of the month, I will change my gauges. My industrial gets changed once a year, so January 1st every year. These two have only been changed once, and it was because I had this one stuck in my ear and I actually had to take wire cutters and cut it out, and I changed these two to match, but other than that I've never changed them. And then my tongue piercing, I've changed that one I think like once or twice too, and I've done that like once a year, but I don't change them as often as normal. I also have these done. I've changed those a few times, but that was mainly when everything was getting healing still, and I was trying to figure out the right sizing to use. So I was still trying to figure out what size I needed. I don't know what they're doing over there. I think I've changed these a few times, and it was just to get an idea of what size gauge I needed. I don't change them as frequently as other people do, but these are the ones I change the most frequently, and they're once a month. What restrictions and paperwork should be expected when getting pierced under the age of 18? So I am not a licensed piercer. I don't pierce people in my free time or anything. I cannot say 100% for certain. I will say, however, though, each place has their own different rules, restrictions, paperwork, etc. I did go with my one friend. His younger sister wanted to get her nose pierced, and we had gone to several different places. I think she was like 15 at the time. There were several places who required either a valid ID, state ID, school ID, birth certificate, whatever. There was a parent that had to be there to sign off. And then there were some places that also denied her simply because she was under 18. So like I said, it all depends, but the majority of places are going to be a parent or guardian has to be there to sign off, and they're going to need some proof of age, like either a state ID, school ID, birth certificate, whatever. But yeah, like I said, every place is different. I don't know for a fact 100% what is what, but you could just call and ask. Do you think you're going to get your tongue split? So for those who don't know, getting your tongue split is a surgery that involves taking and splitting your tongue. So it's two separate things. No, I do not ever, I never even considered it. I never thought about it. I don't want to do it. So no, I am never going to get my tongue split. I don't see the appeal behind it for me personally. I have no interest in it. So no, I'm never gonna get my tongue split. Should my piercer use sterile gloves? Yes, 100%. Your piercer should always use sterile gloves, sterile piercing needles, sterile alcohol to wipe the area. Everything needs to be sterilized and fresh. Those needles need to come out of a freshly opened bag. Those jewelries need to come out of a freshly opened bag. Gloves need to be sterilized. They need to wash their hands while the gloves are on. Everything. You need to realize this is a needle going into your skin, creating a hole in your body, creating an open wound in your body. It's going to be very easy to get infected. Everything needs to be sterilized 100%. Will you make more piercing and tattoo videos? Yes, absolutely, which is why I'm making this one right now. I love talking about my experiences and my art and my body in those types of ways. 100%. I'm hoping to get more piercings and tattoos in the future, so if that ever happens, absolutely 100%. But in the meantime, I enjoy making videos like this, especially since it's something that you guys wanted to see. I am definitely going to make more videos like this. This is a good one. What should I do with my navel piercing if I get pregnant? So, fun fact, for those who don't know, navel is belly button piercing. So when you get pregnant, obviously, if you have an innie belly button, it typically turns into an outie. Your belly stretches to accommodate a baby. Belly button piercings, there is a very interesting piece of jewelry that you can get. As we all know, jewelry tends to come in different sizes. They could be smaller or longer depending on the size of your body, and the same way works with belly button piercings. So there's an interesting piece of jewelry where they actually make belly button jewelry for pregnant people. So it is typically acrylic, because acrylic can bend and it's not metal, it's not harsh, and it is normally a belly button piercing length is about this big. They make jewelry sizes that are longer to accommodate the stretch of the belly, or you can always just take it out. Doesn't matter. I've seen belly button jewelry where it's like this long because they're pregnant and it's for a pregnant belly, but there's people that will choose to take it out. There's people that will choose to keep it in and use something like that. It all depends on personal preference. It is safe. There's no harm to the baby whatsoever. It's completely normal. You had it before you got pregnant. It's fine. Nothing's gonna happen. Do you plan to laser fix or touch up any of your tattoos? I never want to get laser removal in any of my tattoos. However, I would eventually. I've been debating the idea of covering up this one. It was my first ever tattoo. It's very wonky. The S on the, like, it says always underneath. It's a Deathly Hallow symbol. The S is like way too far off. The circle isn't right. It's like wonky. It's not shaded in properly. And I thought about getting it covered up. I would like to at some point, but it's not a priority of mine because it is back here and I don't really see it that often, and I don't wear clothes that show it off that often, so I'm not too concerned about it. But if anything, that is the only one that I would ever get fixed or touched up or covered up or anything. All of my other ones I am completely happy with. The one on my sternum and ribcage area is a little faded over time, but that is another one that I would maybe just get touched up. I would never get it lasered or covered up at all though. I would just get it touched up, make it a little darker. Why is it important to downsize a piercing? So, if you are not aware, when you get pierced, they typically give you a longer size bar on your piercing to account for swelling of the area. So like in the case of my industrial, both of these areas will swell and you need room for your skin to stretch. Otherwise, it's just going to get stuck on your piercing. It's going to be very discomforting, and it could also in some cases cause the skin to heal over the piercing. So it really depends. But it is important to downsize, and I'll use this as a perfect example. If you keep the longer size bar in your ear, once the swelling is done, your ear is going to shrink. And I'm just going to push this up. So say you have all of this extra space. It's going to get stuck on your ear. If you have headphones in, it's going to get stuck. It could get caught on anything. It could get ripped out. It's basically just a safety measure to ensure that nothing is going to happen to your piercing. And it's just safer that way to downsize once the swelling is completely done. How do you know what tattoo to commit to? So I'll answer this personally. Me personally, I look really deep into what I want, the meaning behind what I want, and where I want it. So this one was my first tattoo. I didn't really give it much thought. This one I knew I wanted a chest piece, and I really wanted it to be a lotus flower. There's meaning behind that, and the symbol for enlightenment, obviously. And then these are Harry Potter tattoos. I've shown the meanings behind the other ones on these on my previous video. But me personally, I will look into how much do I really, really like this thing? Is this something that I've carried with me for years? Am I going to continue carrying it for years, or am I going to regret getting a tattoo? And you really have to sit down and think about, like, this stuff is permanent. Do I want to live with this forever? And if it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know, that's an immediate no. But if it's one of those things where it's like, yes, this is something I've loved for years, this is something I'm not changing my mind on, I'm going to continue to love, 100% do it. However, I do know people in my life who get tattoos just because they think it looks cool. Like, oh, I like how that looks, I'm gonna get it. I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. I need to sit down and I need to really think about my tattoos and where they're going and how they're gonna look, and I can't just jump on something and commit to it for the rest of my life. I can't do that, but there are some people who can. And the very last question is, do nipple piercings affect breastfeeding? Short answer, yes and no. Yes, in the fact that when you are breastfeeding, the milk comes out of your nipple. However, there are 2 extra holes now, so the milk will kind of spray in different directions instead of coming out of one area, which isn't necessarily bad. That is if you take the nipple piercings out when breastfeeding, which you definitely should do because there are choking hazards for baby, which I always said if I do choose to breastfeed, I'm just going to take them out entirely. So yes, it affects it in the way that you do need to take them out to prevent choking hazards for baby, and it increases milk flow, which is actually very good for baby because it gets more milk, more nutrition. Also, no, it doesn't affect breastfeeding in the way that you can still have your piercings even if you choose to breastfeed. There's no rule that says you have to completely remove them and close them up or whatever. You can still have them while breastfeeding. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, the only thing is when you do breastfeed, in the moment, you have to take them out before baby latches because you don't want them to choke. Like the ball could fall off. You don't want them to get stabbed with the piercing, anything. But so yes and no. Okay, so that was everything for this video. I hope I addressed everything. I really enjoyed making this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or video ideas, be sure to leave them in the comment section down below. All my social media links are always in the description box. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for my next video. Bye guys.